it's live. We are live. I hit the start broadcast button now. Finally.
Right. Yeah, we got Bird on a Rock jumping in straight away.
There we go. There's Bird on a Rock. He's first on everything.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah. There we go. There's Eddie Moser.
Hey.
All right, this is good stuff. Here, I'm gonna. Oh, there's Tech Nerd. Everybody's booping. All right.
That was way too much effort.
I am seriously astonished that this is even working. I'm surprised that we have electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
How have we come so far as a species?
Oh my goodness. I swear to you, dude, this is like, at this point, I should just pop champagne and celebrate because my goodness. All right. All right. So I'm gonna, so if you talk, then it switches to your video, right?
Yes, I believe it is switching to my video now.
Okay. And now I'm talking and it switched to my video.
Magic.
Boy. Okay.
Well, at least the audio is in sync, apparently.
What's that?
Someone's saying the audio is in sync, which is nice.
That's great. That's just gravy on top of what we've got so far. Okay. So to everybody that's joining us here right now, it is surprisingly difficult to actually get two people on screen at the same time in an effortless manner, which is what Angus and I were trying to do. But welcome to Angus and I coming to you live using the interwebs in the visible light spectrum. I just recently got high-speed internet, like the highest speed I could get.
How did you get that? I do want to know.
And then something magical happened. All right, Angus, how's it going, man? What'd you say?
Yeah, good. I said, how did you actually get such a ridiculous upload speed?
Oh, so here in the Seattle area, there's a provider called CenturyLink, and they have a fiber to your house. So I actually have a fiber optic line running over the telephone poles down to my house and into my house into an ONT, which takes the fiber signal, and then I just have a small little Ethernet Cat6 cable to my cable or to my modem, and then I distribute it throughout the house.
Awesome. Yeah, because someone sarcastically said in the chat, he paid for it, question mark. That's nice. Most of Australia is still on 10 megabit maximum. So I could pay like $10,000 a month and I wouldn't get anything near that. But yeah, we've got 100, which is nice, but it's not as nice as 500.
Oh, hey, a gentleman by the name of Howard Price just threw $10 into the chat. Howard, thank you so much.
Ah, very nice.
So what we have a company called Xfinity, which was formerly Comcast, and then we have CenturyLink. So Xfinity is a cable provider, and so it's cable internet. And what we were paying for cable TV and cable internet, which was like, I think 100 megabit down and 10 up, and a couple TVs, couple phone lines, it was what we're paying for CenturyLink to give us the gigabit Ethernet and TV and such. It's like $100 less a month. So I'm actually paying less to get 10 to 20x the internet speed, and it is
phenomenal.
Glorious.
That is nuts. Like there was one company doing gigabit fiber here, but they sold like only a certain number, and it was just, I didn't want to change providers because it works, and I don't want to like have not internet. As you would know with a YouTube business, it's like it's impossible to do anything without internet.
Oh, it's totally impossible. In fact, when they were installing it, they showed up at my house at 12:45, and they didn't leave until 9:30 at night. And in those 9 hours, they completely dismantled anything I had to do with my home network to try to augment their stuff into my house. So beforehand, I had 4 different Apple access points acting as kind of like a poor man's mesh network. And a couple of them were hardlined, with a couple being Wi-Fi repeaters. And their TV service is IP based, but it uses some weird sort of multicast ports, so they couldn't get the signal through through my routers. So what they ended up doing is putting in these weird media switches that then carried the IP video signal and was multicast friendly.
That sounds like a nightmare. I don't want to even think about
so
it.
Terrible. So now I'm running. I went. So I took down my network and I went and bought a range extender and was using the wireless off of the modem that CenturyLink provides, which is 802.11ac. Not bad, right? And I just got a range extender and it seemed to be okay, but I wasn't very satisfied. So I thought about getting Google Wi-Fi, but instead I went with Orbi because the tests that I saw showed that it gave you the fastest wireless speeds across the network. But it was horrible to set up, and they had dumbed down networking to the point of where if you can just run your entire network off of a simple 2-button app on your phone, then that's what you get.
Yeah,
and
right.
The problem is CenturyLink, because of the way they set it up, all of the video boxes require an IP from the modem, not from a router doing DHCP, which means that I have to turn off DHCP and network address translation on the modem, or on my router, I'm sorry, and just hang my Wi-Fi bits off in a bridge mode and let the CenturyLink modem do the DHCP and network address translation, which Orbi didn't like.
I'll be honest, most of that was kind of like...
Really? You're not a networking guy?
Not really.
Okay. Well, here, I'll tell you what. Here's the quick and dirty. So, do you know what DHCP is?
No.
Okay, so when you have a router or a modem or something, it has an IP address. And a DHCP server is something that serves out IP addresses. So if the modem is acting as the residential gateway to the internet, then it can serve IP addresses to the things that need IP addresses. And it knows it's that way. Devices know IP, they know their subnet, and they know the gateway address. And so they say, here is my IP given to me by this server, so I know that I need to go there to go out to the internet, or I need to go to wherever that tells me to get out to the internet.
Sure.
So that's what DHCP is. If people have a self-assigned or a static IP address, then they're not asking a server for the IP address for the device they're on.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So network address translation, or NAT, I believe has to do with I think it has to do with translating internet traffic to specific devices and specific ports on the device. I think someone will correct me if I'm wrong, because someone always corrects me if I'm wrong on the internet.
Yeah, that's how YouTube works, though.
Oh man! But anyway,
to be completely honest, for me, it's a magical like bit of glass that sends little flashing lights, and if I get a signal, I'm happy, because otherwise we just smash rocks together here in Australia.
Just grog, 10 megabit, grog.
Yeah, you just listen out for the smashing, and you're like, oh yeah, they're over there.
Well, I'll tell you what. If and when you and Ash decide to come and visit, you can use as much of my bandwidth as you'd like.
I would. I think we should actually like set up a 4K stream just no one will watch it on 4K, but you can upload it at 4K.
4K 60, right? We'll use all the frames. I can't do serious frame serving though, because what you see me right here on, I guess it's through Google Groups, and Google does a 720p stream, which I guess is why we look so soft and buttery. But if I'm trying to serve up 1080p, I'm on a laptop, and it's still a couple years old. It doesn't like to serve up large frames. And the other machine that I have is a 2008 Mac Pro, which really doesn't like it.
Well, that's the other thing. Actually, the on-the-fly encoding is just another whole story. Anyway, we should stop talking about internets. We're on the
Yes,
internet.
I'm sorry.
Geeking
Angus,
out massively. Yeah, go.
I did want to ask, dude, how you doing? Because it's been a while since we've chatted, and since we've actually chatted on my channel, your channel. But in that extremely long time since then, you have skyrocketed. You have gained a ton of new subscribers, and you've had some videos that have just taken off with your Geneva mechanism, the Geneva drive, I think it was.
That one went nuts. Yes.
That went nuts, and it's over 2.5 million views or something like that. I'm just curious, and I don't know if everybody else will be curious as well. But what is next for your channel? What does 2018 hold in its cards for you and Maker's Muse?
So I actually had a really nice private Patreon stream this morning with all the guys, because that way I can really dig in and get answer questions without the chat flying past. And yeah, the project stuff is super powerful because you don't need to know anything about 3D printing to get something out of it. So basically, with the Geneva mechanism, I didn't really show the printing, I just showed the actual mechanism and the whole story behind it, which is why it went big, because people who you might not care about 3D printing, but you might want to learn something anyway. So that's kind of what I want to do, more accessible stuff along those lines, and not just 3D printing. You're getting into CNC now, for example. Yeah,
that's
CNC
right.
is the next big thing. Laser, I would absolutely love a laser cutter. There's no room for it, but you've got your Muse, so you got that going. There's a 3D printing company which is Muse as well. Would you believe?
Oh really?
Have you seen
them?
Yeah.
No! Oh no!
Yeah. They have a chocolate printer.
Oh.
I should send them an email. Be like, hey, it seems to be a good fit. But yeah, it's mostly more projects and more educational stuff. And I kind of figured as well, as the channel's grown, and you probably notice this as well, there's a lot of people that come in with just no idea about 3D printing. They start at the base level, and because you just naturally evolved, you'll often skip explaining jargon and that sort of thing. So you want to make it accessible for anyone coming in. So the basic stuff, going back to basics as well is important. Like with CAD, for example, the Fusion 360 stuff for me is important because I want people with no idea to actually get into it. So that's kind of where we're going. Yeah. And reviews, there'll still be more reviews, but same with you, time is such a commodity now that reviews just take so much time that I can't take them on anymore at the level I used to.
I have to agree with you there because, and that's actually going to lead into what my next question to you is going to be. But as far as it sounds like projects are the way to go, and being able to incorporate 3D printing as a tool, perhaps even a primary tool in a project to do something cool. It seems like if that's where you're going to go and incorporating other stuff, I know that's probably the direction that I'm going to have to take. But beside that, then what does 2018 look like on YouTube in the 3D printing world? What do you think?
For just 3D printing?
Yeah, for just 3D printing. I know that the maker movement is generating a lot more channels, and that there are still always going to be 3D printing centric channels. There's always going to be maker channels, and there's going to be people that use a variety of everything to get done what needs to get done. And so just 3D printing in general, if you take some of the dedicated channels, take some of the design channels, take some of the people that do a lot of CAD and CAM stuff, and then you take some of the people like Bob over at I Like to Make Stuff. You take companies like Matter Hackers, who are actually trying to put out more video content about the products that they sell. What in your opinion, what do you think? Well, how about let's go this way. What are 3 things that you think we will see in 2018 when it comes to 3D printing on YouTube?
Yeah, so I reckon 2018, Joseph dropping the Mark III is kind of a big deal, because he's gone basically, look, 3D printers need to be more user-friendly for more people to adopt them. So stuff you all, I'm going to just do it. So that's going to shake up things because yes, 3D printing is great, but it's got this like this ceiling. You know, you've got the machines like like the CR10 and that, and then you've got way up there machines like the Stratasys, which like they'll always work because they cost $20,000. But Joseph's gone, okay, well these machines have this and that, and they kind of work well except when like filament runs out. So we'll just add a filament sensor and make it actually work. And I think that's going to trickle down because, there's been so many Kickstarter attempts, and there's some right now. I'm not going to go into the names. They're like, it's time to change 3D printing, or you've never seen 3D printing like this. And it's a pretty box, but it's just the same. We've seen through 2016 as well, like just repackaging of the same tech, not like nonstop, at least in my opinion. But it's still got the same reliability issues. So if you want to get more people into it who aren't prepared to put the hard yards in, then I reckon it's going to be seeing it, easier to use in 2018. So more of a push for consumer. Like there was the MakerBot push, wasn't there? I reckon we're going to see a proper
That's
push.
true. That's true.
Because like $100 is reasonable for someone who's not super into it to try a 3D printer.
Oh, okay. I like that idea though, and I like it because it's pushing 3D printing more towards I keep saying kitchen gadget, but I don't know if that's the right term to use, because you want it to become a household gadget, right? Does that make sense?
Well, I reckon there's two schools of thought again. You have people who really enjoy the fact they can pull it apart, and they really want to tweak it and upgrade it. And then you have people who want it to be just like a desktop printer. They want it to print stuff. And that's what we're going to see more of becoming more accessible, is the printing side of things. Because if you like tinkering, there's never been a better time. Like you can buy the cheapest thing and tinker your heart's content. It used to be you'd spend like $800 on a kit, and then you had to spend another $1,000 to get it working. Now you just spend like $100.
Well, I just saw your video on the Start 3D printer. It's a $99.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it's not great, but it works.
Well, I like the thing that you brought up is that the price for entry is actually less than you would pay for the parts they give you.
Sorry?
The price for entry is less than what it would cost for you to just buy the parts outright.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it's like the mass production, scaling of economy. So, if you're going to get something that's an actual consumer product, you can push the price way down.
I like. Do you think $99 is the low point we will see, or do you think that just with mass production and more people getting adopted into the technology, do you think we will see a lower barrier to entry?
I'll be honest, I think $100 is plenty low, because you could get lower, but then you're going to start seeing deals like loss leader approaches, which people don't like. Sure, like that desktop printer behind me costs $20, but the ink costs $50. And we all hate it, but we're used to it now. I don't think we're going to be tricked twice with that. Da Vinci tried it. The whole cartridge model, and then people hated it, so they brought out the Pro without cartridge chips. It's just, we don't like that as a society, but you got to be prepared to pay up front. $100 isn't that much for a machine. It's really not, especially if you get a good use out of it.
That's a good point. Well, if you think about it from the tool perspective, right, you're going to go pay a couple $100 for a table saw or a good drill or a router or a jigsaw or a drill press or whatever. And so you make a very good point. At $99 for something that works, you're essentially you're talking about a tool, right? I mean, you can get
there's
everything
Lego
done.
kits that cost more than $100. Easy.
Yeah, there's
like, So I think my argument would be, if you're not prepared to pay $100, you're not prepared to pay anything. I think that's to sum it up. I think if you're not taking it seriously, I think anything less than $100, you're not willing to invest into it. But I don't think it's unreasonable. Like 200, 300, 500 is like, yeah, that's a pretty big investment. hundreds, like, you know, if you take it semi-seriously, you can afford it.
Well, if you think
I might
about
get
it,
paid for
a
that.
good 3D printing pen is going to be what, 20 to 40 bucks.
They
You're
used
just
to be
talking about,
200.
and they
when
used to
came
be
out.
200. That's just it. Yeah, they used to be a lot more expensive, and now they're almost like door prizes. You could just, here's a thing, and it actually, you know, it's got a motor and a heater cartridge and settings, and it extrudes. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, some people love them. I don't personally find them that useful, but yeah, they've gotten the price way down now. But we haven't seen widespread adoption from them. From that.
Okay, well then, if bringing the price lower isn't lighting the fires under more widespread adoption, what do you think needs to happen in order for that to happen? We've gotten prices down, like you said. The start was $99 for a kit. If you wanted to help someone put it together, it could be a weekend project. That was a really great video, by the way. But if that doesn't light the fire under people, what do you think needs to happen to get more widespread adoption?
I think going back to the reliability, like if you, okay, imagine this. If you got, because you're taking your review printers in, for example, you unbox it, put it on the table, press print, and it jams. Right? That's your first ever experience with 3D printing. How likely are you to actually even bother fixing it?
That's true. That's really true. That first out of box experience, like when I first got my FlashForge Creator Pro a couple years ago, my first printer, had I had problems right out of the gate, I may never have gotten into this just out of frustration.
Yeah. You really have to. For me, it was I put a CNC kit together when I was in university, so I already knew how this sort of thing worked. So, like when I first got my Up Mini, it arrived broken. It had like a broken clip. I held the bed in place for 10 minutes printing a new clip so I could use it.
That's fantastic.
But that's only because I knew what I was doing. Like if it arrived to anyone else, it would have been like, it's going back to the factory. So I think that's the thing. And actually, I got the chat fired up finally. And I think someone was saying it has to be reliable and almost self-healing, which is like a regular printer. It gets an ink paper jam. You take the paper out, it sort of rehomes itself, realigns, and it's good to go.
That's a good segue into the next question. You don't mind me asking you these questions?
Oh, go for it.
These are great. I remember I got the CR10 S4 or the CR10 enlarged, whatever Gearbest calls it.
How many versions is there now?
There's the S10, or no, there's the CR10. There's the S4, the S5, the Mini, the Peugeot, the Batman symbol, the CR11, I think, and there's going to be a CR9.5. Probably. There's going to be a CD5. I think they're actually going to start going up the alphabet. They're actually going to start inventing letters. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, 11 3/4.
That's right. Gearbest gave me a coupon for the printer, and I think we had a conversation about that because I put it on my Facebook page and I wanted to make people aware of it. I wasn't trying to link spam anybody or affiliate spam. I just want to make sure that because it was going to expire, here's a coupon. But someone left a comment and they said, please stop promoting these bottom of the barrel, race to the bottom printers. And after thinking about it, I think that as a not only as an industry, but as a community, we sort of need both, and we need them to converge at some point. We need this race to the bottom, not necessarily not at a quality standpoint, but something that's affordable, and it's the minimum set of things that you need to create a really good print. And then on the other side, we need like the Prusa Mark III, because we need it to be more intelligent. We need more sensors. We need it to correct itself, and we need it to be able to reset easily if a problem happens. And I think that these need to converge. Do you agree?
I do absolutely completely agree. You need products that suck in an ecosystem, because there'll always be someone to buy the cheapest, and there'll always be someone to buy the most expensive. It's almost like a bell curve. You have the cheapest crap, and then you have the stuff up here, which is probably the best bang for your buck. Then it drops off. You get diminishing returns for your money. And I think there's the Gearbest thing is interesting because it's almost like a gold rush. Like it sparked these clones of clones of clones because people were buying them. They wouldn't have existed if people weren't buying them. So it was fulfilling a market.
That's
Like,
true.
you know, so you're saying, oh, you're promoting these things. It's like, well, yeah, because people buy them. You know, people vote with their wallets. If they didn't want them, you wouldn't be promoting them because GearBest wouldn't even be selling them.
That's true. Well, I'll say this, and it'll be interesting. Hopefully, the people on chat. So, through my original CR10 review video, I did put a link, an affiliate link to GearBest, because they are the ones that sent me the printer. And I think it was 6 weeks. The 6 weeks following the video, I think through my affiliate link alone, GearBest sold $300,000 worth of CR10 printers.
That's astronomical. Like the amount of machines that entails. And I've talked to people who are in Shenzhen and visited these companies, and they say they are massive operations. They are absolutely huge. And in the case of some of them, they'll take pre-orders. They'll use that to purchase all the parts because they don't have them, and then they send them out a few weeks later. Like it's such a well-oiled machine, and they bring out a new model. People are going to order it. A few weeks later, it ships. It's just absolutely insane.
Wow.
It's supported because people keep buying them. It will stop. It will eventually stop. But currently, it is a gold rush. Like that is an incredible amount of 3D printers, 300,000 from just one link.
Just from my link. And imagine all of the people on YouTube that got these review CR10s and affiliate links from GearBest or wherever.
Yeah, Alex just said just-in-time production. That's exactly what it is. And because China's so fast, they can literally come from concept to like, sometimes it's even a render. It's not even a real. If you look at it's a render. It's a 3D image. The machine doesn't exist. And then you put your money down, and then they'll use that to go get the parts.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's literally amazing.
It's a genius business model. Like, why bother with Kickstarter? You just pretend it exists, and then you go from there.
Here's an interesting question, because you have an industrial design background, and you've traveled to Shenzhen, you've talked to people in China, and you live outside the US. And so that's why I really wanted to ask you this question. Do you think that this gold rush could happen outside of China? Do you think it requires the Chinese well-oiled machines to produce these massive amounts of printers from parts and to show off the renders? Or do you think that even in Australia, here in the US, or in Europe, do you think another company could approach that?
It's tricky because China has nothing. No one's got anything on China in terms of scalability. It's like, for example, I went to some of the Shenzhen markets, and I got some of those little threaded inserts you can push into plastic. Yeah, they got like a little knurled outside and like.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah. I bought like 10 of them, and they looked at me with complete disgust because basically they're there to sell millions, and the stall is there to say, this is what we have. Tomorrow, you put a deposit down, we'll bring you, how much you ordered, like 50,000, 100,000, and you pick it up. Like it's next day, sometimes even same day. That's how well-oiled that system is. You mean
a business-sized quantity of parts same day?
Yeah. They have stock on hand, and you say, I want this. They basically, like, all of them are on phones. They'll call out their factory, which might be like 3 hours out of Shenzhen. They'll grab it, bring it in. So you could get pretty much any electronic component. There was a 3D printing stall which had nozzles and things. And there's a really good video of a guy building an iPhone from parts.
Oh, Stranger Parts. Yes. That guy's rad.
Yeah, that's a perfect example, a demonstration of how nuts it is. So you need to replicate that in America, which means you need parts in America ready to go. So you need the factories making the parts.
Possible. I don't think that's doable.
Yeah, one of the things I will say is, one of the things I noticed over there is a lot of your parts and products are made in America, made in the US, or Mexico, but like US or Mexico. Here it's China. Everything's China, which I found a bit interesting.
Oh, really? So you're talking here being Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So all our products are made in China here. Like, manufacturing in Australia is dead. Like, gone like the dinosaurs. It's completely ruined. But I think you still have something going on there.
Huh. Okay.
You got a
That's
$5 tip from Jeffrey, who said, "You guys are responsible for getting me into 3D printing. I love it, but my wife kind of hates you."
Oh, well, thank you for the $5 tip. That's incredibly generous of you, and I can completely understand. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Lady Muse also is one of the reasons I'm not taking any more reviews on. There's no more room.
It got. I'm gonna, my wife has said, where is this gonna go when a box shows up? And it's not like we're talking a bunch of Up Mini 2s or C-test kits or whatever. The CR10, the FormBot, the CR10 S4. I think they want to send me the S5. I've got the G-Max. I've got the next version of the G-Max. The E10. I mean, these are large machines. Where I don't know where they're all supposed to go.
And that's the thing. Like, you could almost do what I think Casey Neistat did a video the other day, just opening packages. Like, he just gets sent so much stuff, and he said, like, basically, you send me stuff, I'm going to sell it on eBay and donate the donation and donate the profits. You could almost
that's awesome.
Consider doing that, because I would never sell printers I get sent for review, because that's just, I like to keep them for a start for like comparisons, but it's not okay. It's not ethical to sell things that were sent. But if you're doing it for donation, if you're doing it for a good cause, I don't think manufacturers would mind. If it's been a year, and the model's old now, it's moved on, might be a way to work through it.
I've done that. I usually donate to either a school or a makerspace, or I've given a few out to family members because they were interested because of my videos and they want to get started. I just sent the Mod T down to my buddy in California because he wanted to print a Star Trek emblem for his costume, and I was like, well, hey, here's the Mod T, have fun with it. Yeah, and actually, cool. He's communicated with New Matter support, and they know he has it, and they don't care. So it's wonderful. It kind of works out.
Well, if you fulfilled the return on investment transaction, then yeah, why should they care?
True. I guess a review printer is just a marketing expense, really.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just an ethics thing for me. And also, someone mentioned like giving them to kids and things. I did try something like that. The problem is most printers, going back to the reliability aspect, aren't reliable. So I don't have time to support them. So I don't have time to answer a phone call saying, "Hey, Angus, it's jammed on PLA. What do I do?" And I go there and it's like they're all printing on ABS settings. Like, that's classic. And I just don't have time for that, unfortunately.
Well, one of the things, and that's a really good point, because you, myself, Tom, Joe, other people that get these review machines, even Chuck, I know Chuck donates them as well. I would love to donate to more people, but I don't have the capacity to support everyone that I want to donate to. So a question that might be a good thing to discuss is, how can we as people with a surplus get more machines to people that could use them, while at the same time finding a way for them to get support? Do you think there's an answer there, or do you think there's a way we could do that?
The trick is they're all different, because by virtue of getting different manufacturers to send us things, they're all different types, which means they need different types of support. So like, you have the ups, and you have like the kits, and you have the Zortrax, and they all have their own different ecosystems. So you'd almost need to hook up them with like a local reseller, and the deal might be they buy their filament through them or something.
Okay.
And there would need to be some return on investment for them. But yeah, like, I thought about like a local library or something could use it. But again, like, I'd have to be like, take it. If you want me to support it, you have to pay me, because my time is valuable. Like, that's the only way I could personally do it.
That's actually a good point.
I hate to go back to money, but this is how it works.
I know.
A time, like, I don't know how you do it. You got a full-time job. Like, this is my full-time job, and I don't have time. So I don't know what you do.
I'm curious because, like you said, this is not my full time. I have a full time job. I also have, you know, I've got a wife. I have 3 kids. There's stuff that we do, and I try to put out as much content as I can without actually killing myself, which that line kind of swerves a little bit. What is with content? Now, I'm not going to say YouTube as a full time job, but content production. What could you take me through a typical day?
Yeah, I could try. I mean, they all vary, but for example, yesterday was the start video, right? So, you know, I've been printing on that machine for basically since I got back from the States. So printing stuff on and on. It had some issues we had to repair. So often I'll be assembling printers, repairing things while I'll listen to podcasts or your streams or something. So I have background, like multiple consumption of things. And then basically I'm filming it as it's testing. I will write a script. So I'll go through and figure out what happened, what went wrong. I write an entire script.
Okay.
This isn't every video, but this is like the proper ones. A lot of people don't know, but actually I have a teleprompter. So like I am terrible at public speaking. I need assistance. So just like Tom, I actually look at a teleprompter for a lot of the notes that I have.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, because I have nothing.
Yeah, because you can just ad lib everything, you know. So yeah, I'll have a teleprompter, not for every video, but for really technical stuff I do. And you know, for the 3D print reviews, you've got to be technical. You need to know the bed size, this and that. And I don't have time to sort of edit ifs and ums and that. So I'll just have a straight script. I'll get it out in the script. I'll record it, and then I'll edit it. And then what I'll do is a first pass edit where I'll get all the mistakes out. And then I'll be like, okay, I need B-roll here, 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 here. And I'll go back and get the B-roll and then come back in, dump the B-roll in, watch it once or twice, edit it, encode it. My computer's old enough now that encoding means I can't do anything else. And it takes about half an hour per video now. I'll chuck it up and then, yeah, do the thumbnail and then let it go. So I used to try to stick to a schedule. Like I think you try to make your videos live, in the morning kind of thing?
My videos, I try to set live at 6 a.m. Pacific time, which for the US East Coast is then 9 a.m. And then for Europe, it's usually in the afternoon. So then I can hopefully catch people watching towards the end of their day.
Sure. Yeah. So I should have a schedule, but at the moment I just, as soon as it's done, publish. And then I go to bed usually because it's usually midnight or later actually lately. But it's lots of, yeah, go.
Jeffrey Pittman said Tom is filming in his second language though, and that's kind of interesting as well because I know English barely, and obviously you're a native English speaker as well, right?
Mm.
Do you think that, or would you want to reach more people in a non-English capacity? Do you think that's possible?
If I have a script, then I could get it translated quite easily. I could just pay a service, or I think some other channels even get their own fan base to do it. I do know that China, especially lately, has been picking up on YouTube, which is what we've noticed. But when I first started YouTube, they had no idea what it was. Like they literally, because it's behind the firewall, they don't know how to get to it. It doesn't exist for them. They have their own YouTube-like thing. Yeah, exactly. So that's only a recent thing, but yeah, it's a big planet, and we have lots of different languages that I would like to reach. Absolutely. So that's cool. So again, it's in the list of doing things. But yeah, no, that every day is different. Like yesterday or was the day before, I spent a lot of it like 3D scanning fruit because I'm testing the IronScan SE and SP scanners, and I wanted to see how well it scanned bananas and pineapples.
Sure, why not?
So
that's all documented. Can you give us a little bit of a spoiler? How well did it do?
Really, really good. I could measure that banana down to like, plus or minus, 50 microns.
That's not bad.
I don't know. I have to double check it, but it looks good. The biggest issue with 3D scanning though is the mesh file goes through the roof. The size is insane.
Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? Because there's just so much more. There's so much more information there.
There's so much data. Yeah, you have to go back in and simplify it. But yeah, it's decent. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It,
What are, and this is you probably said this before, but what are 3 things that you want to accomplish in 2018? Not necessarily with YouTube, but just in content creation and your now chosen profession.
So definitely more projects. Like everyone loves the projects, as you're saying before, and I personally love them too. I mean, they're more fun. I can just do random things. Like look at Devon, making a human bop it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to see that in person on November 1st.
That's nuts. Like that's exactly what YouTube should be for. Crazy projects utilizing technology. So 100% more crazy projects. People want to see more combat robots, for example. Absolutely.
Okay, good. I would love to see more combat robots.
Oh yeah, no, I've got some good plans for that. But the outside of YouTube is kind of where I'm pushing. So I'm working on some video courses, which will be in addition to YouTube, because I've got, I don't know how many hundreds of videos. You've got hundreds of videos as well. For a newcomer to come to that, it's kind of like where do you start? Like there's a playlist, for example, but even then it's kind of jumbled. So I want to create external resources to YouTube through video courses as well. Okay. And that's kind of where the business is going as well. So they'd be like $10 or something for just like a really straightforward video course to kind of speed people up on things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. I might have to hire people.
Producing for YouTube is already a full-time job in itself. And like with the printers that I have, I've heard people say, hey, I'd have those things running 24/7. And it's like that in itself is a full-time job.
Yeah, I spent like a whole afternoon fixing the Zortrax M300 because I put PLA through it like an idiot. And yeah, it just kept failing. And it's just, that was a whole afternoon gone.
How is it now?
I print hips on it only, and I'm getting that sort of thing. So it's really good. It's awesome quality. It just takes forever to slice. That was printed at the fastest it could go, and it still took 20 hours. Maybe
because I tried doing the Zelda sword on my M300 in PETG, and at like 55, 60 hours, it got a clog. It failed. That really sucked. But I then tried again, and I was getting serious under extrusion. And so I pulled apart the extruder. There was some white PLA bits still in there from when I tried that. So I got that out, tried again. It wasn't as bad, the under extrusion, but the pieces I could just kind of crumble in my hand.
That's exactly what happened to me. Yeah. I ended up changing the nozzle.
I changed the nozzle and it's still happening. So I'm wondering if something is up in the throat, maybe.
Yeah, well, I took it out and I thought it was all metal, but it's actually got a PTFE liner.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, mine does. And it still jammed.
Well, because the one I remember I talked to them and I was like, I'm putting PLA through, and they're like, oh no, you need to use this one for PLA, and it's got that PTFE liner in it. So I thought maybe the one in there did not, but you took yours out,
and it's PTFE lined. Yeah. Oh well, that will be another video.
Well, here's something interesting. Do you think that you've seen the Capricorn tubing?
Yes.
It's supposed to be able to withstand a higher temperature and be produced under better tolerances. Do you think that you could do high temperature printing using a Capricorn PTFE tube?
How much higher? I haven't looked into the specifics.
I haven't either.
Because like polycarbonate can go up to 300 degrees C, depending on what. Yeah. So that's pretty hot for any sort of plastic.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's really hot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, Robbie Max saying 340 degrees C. So you're getting close to the max. But it would work. Yeah.
That would be interesting though. I wonder. Because right now I need to actually take out my take out the nozzle and the heater block and the throat and replace it with the one they sent me. I don't know. Something must be wrong. I'd love to get it working because it's a large format machine should be reliable.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, that's for another video, I think.
Yeah. I could do a whole series on what I've had to do to that thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
People are wondering why they can see a car in my frame. That's a mirror, and that's the garage.
Wait, move your head. I can't see.
Well, there you go.
Wow. You do a lot with not a lot of space, don't you?
Yeah. That's how I roll.
I'm almost. I think I'm kind of out of the questions. How did I do? Did you think we had a good conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I could try asking you some questions.
I mean, you
I'd love
could.
to know. I'd love to know what the plan is for the Mr. Joel for 2018.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we should get to chat at some point. There's some people in there that have been.
Oh yeah, they've been patient.
Okay, so I will answer this, and then we'll go to chat. How does that sound?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So, in 2018, my goals are to. I would love to be able to support my family doing content creation as a job. And a lot of people say, well, how far are you? Where are you at right now? And because I do make some money from YouTube, and I do have some Patreon funds, and I do have some affiliate sales, right? But
sure.
Ever since I left my MCN, I've lost about 33% of my ad revenue, which
wow. Okay.
which just sucks. And I give Sean a lot of my Patreon funds because he edits all my videos, and I think that's great, right? Because that saves me from dying.
Yeah, fair exchange. Yeah.
So right now, if I were to do YouTube content creation full time, I like to say that my kids would have to fight over a ramen packet for lunch because I just wouldn't have the funds to buy them anything else. Plus, a job gives me really cool things like health insurance, which is
sure. That's a big thing in the States.
What is the health insurance situation in Australia?
Everyone's entitled to public health. So
okay,
I can walk into a hospital and say, "Hey, I'm feeling sick," and they'll be like, "Come with me," and it's all free.
Oh,
yeah,
that's handy.
Wow. You pay for the ambulances because they're private, but you can get that covered under fairly reasonable health insurance. So we have just like the base level for private, which is nothing like pre-planned or pre-known, but any accidents.
Oh, okay. That's kind of handy, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I know over there it's a massive thing to have good insurance.
It is. It is. Yeah. When the kids are playing sports and they fall down and something snaps, it'd be great if I could take them to a doctor. It'd be nice. Another goal for me would be I would love to be able to do something like this on a television scale.
That'd be cool.
I think that not necessarily my 3D printing nerd, show as an example, but some sort of way for me to be able to talk to people in the community and to show off really cool things and to generate more buzz, to try to show off innovation and to try to get more people interested, people outside of my current circle, right? I want to expand my circle of influence, I guess. And then the idea would be to if I have a larger circle of influence, then I could technically use that to show off more people. So hopefully it just would be this groundswell of awesome. That's the idea.
Yeah, so I suppose that you can say that that's your creed. You want to show more people awesome things.
That's a good creed. That's not a bad creed. I mean, honestly, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, go.
Well, a lot of people. I'm trying to find where I fit because I know you have an industrial design background. You are an amazingly smart person, and you approach things in a very compelling and unique way. And and you look at Tom. Tom is a German engineer, right? And
he should be working for BMW.
He should be working for BMW, or he should be working wherever he wants. That dude true. He is legitimately an incredibly smart guy. He produces great content, and there's a really good reason why a lot of his reviews are some of the most trusted out there. Me, I am a nerd that just gets really excited about technology, and so the goal is just to try to see if I can find my niche.
Yeah. Well, again, going back to the TV thing, you're a fantastic personality. Like, so you can share that excitement with people through a TV show. That would not be a big stretch, in my opinion.
No, well, I'll tell you what. Here's the deal, and and this is totally public. If I ever get myself a television show, I'll bring Angus onto it. It's
Sounds
you, buddy.
good.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
because you're TV friendly. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, we
I'm
both have this
well
incredible
practiced
hair.
in speaking international English, not Australian English.
Oh, that's rad, dude. Okay.
Let's jump into the chat.
Let's jump to the chat. There we go. Joel is more of a consumer type, in my humble opinion, and I don't disagree with that, because I just get really excited. I mean, I've been in software for 20 plus years, and so we talk about software things. That's my bread and butter, right? But I think calling me, I like a consumer advocate, maybe.
Sure.
I think that might be a good one.
Yeah, we look at like what Adam Savage and those guys did. They made that kind of thing really engaging, and you can do that for anything you're interested in, really.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
You could do a voiceover as a job. You could be like a Markiplier substitute.
That's right. Yeah, if Markiplier is ever just has a cold or something, I can be like, "Hello, I'm Markiplier," right? I can just kind of lower it a little bit.
Trick so many people.
I just need to work out a little bit more. That guy's ripped.
He is.
Jim Stone, Angus, you guys missed donations. I guess we missed some donations coming in, and I feel really bad about that.
Can you go into another tab to look at them?
I don't know.
Like there usually is this. I don't know if it's in like another window or something.
Oh wait, here we go. I'm up here. So Jim Stone gave a Canadian 2 and said Barnacles is becoming a bully, like Leafy is here. I don't know what that means.
I have not.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I know Jerry. He's a friend of mine. I
know Leafy. I knew Leafy.
I never watched Leafy. I remember the content cop on Leafy.
That was fantastic. iDubbbz. I was like one of iDubbbz, just to put it out there, subscribers when he had like 20K or less. I was there at the beginning when he was doing the Kickstarter crap, and I was just like, I love this guy.
Well, who's the other guy the guy that made the laser that always shines in your eye, right?
I support him on Patreon now.
Oh, really?
So I'm at the end of his videos. Michael Reeves or whatever he is.
Michael Reeves, that's right, Michael Reeves.
Oh man,
oh my gosh.
I think living in Hawaii sent him a little bit loopy.
Dude, his I follow him on Twitter, and it's insane.
Yeah,
it's literally insane.
Hashtag YouTube buddies.
That there was a chat thing from Lauren over to Buzz Designs earlier, and she said, I think it was, you need to involve your wives, I think is what it was. Back when we were talking, when someone said that, I thank you for getting me into 3D printing, but my wife hates it. And I was like, oh, my wife doesn't. You said Lady Muse is part of the reason why you can't accept printers. Does Ash want to do anything more?
Not really. I mean, look, her passion lies in illustration. So she does that, and we had a long chat about it, because really she doesn't want to be the wife of Maker's Muse. She wants to be her own thing, and I support that. So she'll always be the minion in the videos, as people would have seen in the start video, when she just hurled stuff at my head.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, she was like, I have to throw stuff at you for that terrible joke. I'm like, let's do it.
Her illustrations are incredible, and the speed at which she can produce these. Oh man, it's okay. Hold on.
You just got a $500 donation.
Yeah.
Holy what?
Okay, Jeffrey. Okay, so Angus, I streamed the other day. I was doing a test from my 2008 Mac Pro, and I was streaming with OBS, and I was maintaining a whopping 14 frames per second. And
Wow.
Jeffrey Nikolic came in, and he said, "Here's $500. Go get yourself a new computer." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Jeffrey, what are you doing?" And it was late. I was emotional. I cried at the end. I didn't show it on camera, but I cried. And then he.
It's not often that you're speechless. That's insane. It's your lucky cube. There you go.
I'm not going to destroy this.
Don't step on that one.
I literally don't know what to do at this point. I have no idea. Like, how do you even continue from something like this? How do you?
I've never happened, so I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Well, which Delta do you like the best?
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to spend some time on this because I can. Jeffrey, which Delta do I like the best? I have 3. I have the TiVo Little Monster. I have the CME CNC Rostock Max V3. And I have the Neva from Dagoma. Dagoma, right? Dagoma?
Dagoma. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Dagoma. Oh, that's right. And the planet in Star Wars is Dagobah. Dagobah. This is Dagoma from France.
Close.
All right. I don't know if I have a favorite among them because even though they're deltas, they all serve kind of a different purpose. The Neva is interesting, and I'm currently testing it. I just produced a bunch of models to film a video about it, but it's really hard to ignore because as a Delta, it's $350. I mean, it doesn't have a screen.
Yeah.
It takes an SD card and it looks for a specific file name on the SD card, and that's what it prints. But it does filament detection. It does auto bed leveling. I mean,
it's everything you need.
It's for $350. You can shake it. So I like it, but I think that I have to. If I was going to choose, I was going to choose between my Rostock Max V3 and I was going to choose between my Little Monster. So the TiVo Little Monster, TiVo sent that to me for review, and I like the machine. I don't think they did a floating extruder correctly, and I've driven it pretty fast, and it just, it does the truffle shuffle, but it produces okay prints. I think I need to put some smoothers on there, and I think it would produce better prints, but it's a good printer. I don't know. It's a good printer.
Eddie's saying that Little Monster's bipolar, which I think is a good summary of a lot of kits.
Yes, it's a good printer, but like Eddie said, it is bipolar. It will, sometimes it just stops for no reason.
Needs a break.
Sometimes it just doesn't start. Sometimes the touch screen decides it doesn't want to be touched anymore. I don't know. I don't know why it does that. It's just, there's no logical reason for it wanting to do these things. It just does them.
Sentient.
So I really, really like the Rostock Max V3 from CME CNC. Angus, you've seen it. Have you ever assembled one?
I've never assembled any CME CNC printers, no.
Okay.
But I've seen them.
The Rostock series from CME CNC, I describe it as a love letter to the maker community because everything is just perfect. The way that injection molded parts fit with extrusions and the way that belts fit into things, it's perfect. You have to put it together, but it's just perfect. So I think that I like the different Delta printers for their different bits of functionality.
Do you want to show it?
Oh, is it Ash?
Sorry, she doesn't want to come on the stream, but she put your picture on Twitter.
All right, I'll go check it after Twitter.
Sounds good.
Or after the stream, I'll check it on Twitter. But
sorry to interrupt.
What I was saying is, well, the CME printer, the Rostock, I feel like I call it a love letter to the maker community, and it's amazing how they designed it because everything just fits together the way it should. It's just perfect. Like it's perfect. It's so good. And so while the Neva has some cool functionality, it's a little small, and the TiVo Little Monster's a little bigger, but it may just grow legs and run off. I literally don't know. The CME CNC printer, it's a wonderful kit that when you put it together, you feel like it's an accomplishment, and you just stare at it and you print with it, and it's just great. It has a great company behind it. It has a great support community behind it, and a lot of people have produced a lot of really amazing prints with it. So I think if I was going to call one of my Deltas my favorite, rather than a best, I think I would go with my Rostock Max V3 from CME CNC.
Because there is no best, really. There's always trade-offs, but it's pretty damn good.
Well, if people say, what's the best printer? I say, the best printer for what?
Yeah, there's no best.
Oh God, I still see that 500 up there, and I'm still just kind of.
I got to say, the 101 Hero is a pretty ace Delta that I own. Oh yeah.
Hey, I've got a Tico in a box, man.
Yep.
But I don't count it. I don't count it among the machines that I have. It just doesn't feel like a machine. It feels more like an art piece.
Yeah, it's like the Pirate 3D Buccaneer that I got sent as well. It's a bit of history.
There's two comments in the chat that I want to get on our radar. One is Frederick Farrell is asking about the Kodama and if there's any updates, and Ashley T is asking any thoughts on the TiVo Tornado.
I haven't heard much about the Kodama since they got their funding, so I wouldn't be the person to ask. Usually it depends if they're doing like public updates on Kickstarter. You can go check it out. But yeah, my model's gone. It just got picked up a day after I did the review. And I don't have
mine anymore either. My model, I believe, because they sent me the shipping label to send it off to its next destination, and I believe it was Unbox Therapy.
He is not Unboxed a printer. Okay. I watch his videos quite often.
Well, I remember I think he got an Ultimaker 3 at some point, right? Didn't he go buy one or something like that?
Possibly. He doesn't do too much. It's too time consuming. He needs tech that's easy and quick.
That's true.
He's a busy man. He needs to open it and that's done.
You know what? 3D printing will be in a good place when it is the type of technology that Lewis can unbox.
Yes, I would completely agree with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I would like to see more 3D printing on Linus Tech Tips as well. I think they need to do more of it because they got Ultimaker 3.
I know Linus makes good videos and the Linus Media Group people, but I don't know. Do you think 3D printing would belong on their channel?
I think so. I mean, not for Linus to present it, probably more like, because they got some other guy now doing tech stuff. And they're printing stuff for themselves. They're not making videos on it. So I reckon they should. Like they printed RAM holders for all their all their sample.
Oh really?
RAM. Yeah. They should do a video on it. I'd watch it.
I think they did a video on the Ultimaker 3.
Yeah, they reviewed it, which was fair. It was a fair review actually.
I thought it was fair, and it was a great review done in their style.
Yes, with a click thumbnail, but that's how the internet is.
Well, I know that's how the internet is, but I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. They did a good job.
Randall said, Angus, have you seen Thor yet? It's out. It's out in Oz, but not in the US.
No, I haven't actually. I don't see movies very often. I'll be honest.
Why not? Do you like movies?
If it's more the time thing, like I'd have to go because where we are, it's not super close to a cinema, so you have to drive over there, and then you can't go out afterwards because you drove and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather just watch stuff on the TV. I'm one of those people.
Within 5 miles of my house, we have a couple different movie theaters, and one of the theaters that's 21 and over with the comfy seats, and they bring meals and alcohol to your chair.
Right. That's pretty damn good.
I think that's the best way to do it.
I just laid down the block hammer
Oh, I saw that. Hey, good job. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. Someone said to show you the bullet bill, and it's in my car. I took it to work to show people. So
Oh, has it cooled down? Because you don't want to leave PLA prints in a car in the summer.
you don't want to.
Cold.
So it's not summer. Angus, it's October.
Oh, okay, I don't know. It was warm when I was in New York. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that was weird, man. It's now in the 60s Fahrenheit here in Seattle.
Right. So it's cooled down a fair bit.
Okay, so actually, just reminding us, TiVo Tornado. So I have the TiVo Tornado. It's in a box in my house, and it's among the machines that I hope to take out of a box someday. So I don't know. I think Chuck Hellebuck has been printing with the Tornado. In fact, I think I saw one of his the latest Filament Friday video. I think that was printed on the Tornado, and I believe Devin over at Make Anything did part of his Halloween costume on the Tornado as well.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm at the point where if I get a review request, it'll either be I'll go through the thoughts. Do I want it? Then I'll agree to it. Or does it push forward the community? Like, does it bring something new to the table? It doesn't have to be better, just different. So that's why I like the 101 Hero was interesting, because it was cheap. It was terrible, but it was still interesting to me because it was cheap. Whereas the Tornado is not bringing anything new to the table. It's another i3, just like the E10 and just like the CR10. And for me, it has zero interest. So I would not agree to it. But I did agree to a different Tornado, which is the Flying Bear Tornado.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. That seems interesting.
It's an H-bot configuration with linear rails for $500 ish. I think it's a little bit more, but yeah, and it's huge. It's a kit, and it's sitting. People can kind of see it there. It's massive, and it's a decent kit. So that's a different Tornado that I'm actually interested in, because it's actually something new to the table. It's a different design. They spent effort into designing something completely new.
Okay, and that's your wheelhouse right there, right? That's your does it improve upon something, right? And if they made it new, then that's no wonder you accepted that.
Yeah, and like the palette, I've got the Palette Plus. They're like, just use it in a project or something, try it out. So I said that's cool, because it's something interesting to bring to the table, because people are now exploring multi-material and multi-color because it's actually feasible, unlike before.
Well, I think I had the palette, and then I sent it back, and they upgraded it to the Palette Plus, and I produced that. I'll go get the astronaut.
Go for it. I'm gonna just have a quick look at the chat. Frederick is saying, Angus, have you thought about expanding your team for more content in the future? Yes, I have, but as a sole trader, it's difficult, and the channel is me, so it makes it hard. That's humongous. You have to talk to
huge. I'm going to try to bring this to the Matter Hackers meetup on the 1st, and then leave it there for them to have in their lobby. But here's why I think the palette is interesting from an artistic point of view. I think being able to just randomly feed in 4 different colored filaments, I think produces an amazing result.
Well, there was that artist who was making his own filaments. I've forgotten his name. He was on the 3D printing group on Facebook, but he was making his own filament with different colors to do effects like that on his prints.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But now you could just do it with any filament.
Oh yeah, easily. It's just it's cool. Like I wish you could see it in person. I mean, well, you have the Palette Plus. You could technically do this yourself, but I know it's just layered colors, but in person it almost looks like rock. Like
it does. It looks like sedimentary rock. Absolutely.
Sedimentary rock. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like sandstone or something, which is being sort of cut in half. Which is if you had like
right here, look at that. See how it kind of flows and
that's cool.
Yeah.
So if you had like colors that were like earthy, you could do sandstone looking prints.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember Joshua at Design Make Teach. Do I think you met him at New York, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. Early on, when Printed Solid first had their grand opening, he was one of the ones showing off. And I talked to him, and he used these paints to kind of add these oil-based or these certain kind of paints that would run along the layer lines and then deposit color. And so you could take prints and make them look like sedimentary rock because you're essentially creating these layered. And so that's what this kind of reminds me of.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget you can spray paint filament. And run it through your nozzle. So you just get like spray cans and like just do different bits, different colors.
I guess you could. That would look weird. Apparently, in New York, I talked to someone who knows Tommy of Strong Hero 3D, and Tommy was the one that sent me that rainbow filament. Remember the Om-Nom that I printed?
Yes. Yeah.
Apparently, they said that when Tommy's making that filament, he's doing it by hand and he's dropping in bits of color as the filament is being produced.
Yeah, I couldn't see any other way to make that.
I don't know if you could. I mean, I guess you could line up pigment in a small little tube and have it drop in every. I don't know.
No, that's crazy.
Oh, good. Lauren's here from A Buzz Designs. I do want to bring up Lauren because she's been doing. I hope you've seen, but she's been doing these incredible multicolor Mickey ears that she does that she sells on her Etsy, and I think
with
that
the shiny filament.
She's done shiny, and she's done. She's using the Prusa to do multicolor ears, and I wanted to ask you, besides something like that, what are some other uses of the palette and the Prusa machine and being able to print in more than one color? What do you think? Do you have any other ideas for something like that?
I do, because the palette guys are adorable. Let me just say that, because they sent me a long, gorgeous, polite email justifying their product to me, because they said, we know you don't care about multicolor printing. Because I've said that many times in the past. They were like, previously that's all the palette could do, but now it can take in different types of filaments. So you can do different functional parts with multi-material. So what I want to try is like flex with rigid, or, you know, transparent with something, or like opaque, or again, support material. Like I've got a sample from Polymaker of their, I don't know if it's out yet, their support material that's soluble in IPA, that with ABS or something. That's what I want to use the palette for. But yeah, the flexible with rigid is something I really want to try, because I want to see if you can do like live hinges built into a model, which you take off and then you 4D printing, I think is the term, where you do it and turn it into something else. You know, that's what I want to try. Or like built-in shock absorbing or something.
That would be cool, because right now you can do. Bill over at Punished Props, he did a hinge for a costume, and it used the Sigma, and it did rigid and flexible material, and it had that kind of crossover.
Yeah. But, I saw that video. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. That kind of like practical integration of flexible and rigid, and seeing what you can come up with for some sort of product or item.
Yeah.
Teresa's saying Angus wants to break the palette. I guarantee I will break it at some point by accident.
Here's a story. I broke mine. And
well, there you go. I'm going to break mine too, probably.
I plugged it in, and the power light regulator went out, and it went bump.
Oh no! What? So the power supply blew up, or?
Yeah, the internal the internal voltage regulator, they said, popped, and they said it's a known issue with a certain percentage of things, and they asked me if I wanted to fix it myself, and they could send me the parts, or if I wanted to send it back to them, and then they would do it for me and send it back to me, as to not take up too much of my time. Again, incredibly like Canadian polite.
Very polite. They're a really nice company. Absolutely.
Derek from Mosaic, actually, because they sent me the palette, and I didn't have time to put it together. He was coming through Seattle. He asked if he could stop by to help me set it up. Derek came by, and he not only is he just smart as heck, but just a soft-spoken, kind human, just wonderful. And we started doing some stuff. My wife said, "It's dinner time. It's burger." She made some homemade burgers, and I said, "Derek, do you want to stay for dinner?" And he's like, "Oh, thank you very much." And so we came down and ate a burger. We talked. We went back upstairs, hung out for a bit, and then he left. And he had told me, he said, "That's the first home cooked meal I've had in years."
Wow. Oh.
Right?
He's a hard worker.
Right? No, let me feed you. Let me keep doing work. The pallet itself is an amazing machine. It has 7 stepper motors in it.
That's nuts. It really is crazy. It's a feat of engineering, that's for sure.
And it's used this, they call this scroll wheel, and it eventually uses a magnet to catch up so that it's producing the right amount of filament. It's weird, but it always self-checks, and then it always tries to get close to producing as much filament as the printer is consuming, not more, not less.
Right. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Have you used it yet at all?
No. They said don't rush. They said take your time. But for me, it's like, oh, thank you.
Oh, when you open it up, you are going to be delighted with the sheer science and engineering that went into this thing, Angus. You are going to be blown away.
I love, actually, just going back onto that, I love figuring out how stuff works. So going back to my industrial design training, as a project, we were told to get a product and disassemble it, like do a product autopsy on it to figure out how it was made. So I was thinking, I could do a stream where I buy like a cheap toaster and take it apart piece by piece and explain how it was put together, like figure out how they made this toaster. Do you think anyone would watch that?
I would watch it.
Like, this bit was injection molded. Here's the draft angle. Here's the parting line. Here's where they ultrasonically welded it.
Well, you're actually, I mean, you're almost talking about like a family friendly AVE, right?
Very. Oh man! Shout out to that guy. Oh my.
He replied to your comment on his video.
I love him. I love him. He's a champ.
Oh man.
Yeah, Tony's saying watching Devin take apart the Bop It was pretty cool. There you go.
You know, and that, like you said, that is what YouTube is for, right there.
Exactly.
Right there.
So that's what you're going to start seeing more, like experimental tests on Maker's Muse, I suppose. I'm going to try things and see what sticks.
Makes sense. You know, you could do combat robot autopsies.
They sort of autopsy themselves in the ring.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, Robbie with an $1. Does that mean Australia?
Oh yeah. So that's 75 or so US cents.
Sweet. That's 3/4 right there.
There you go.
Oh, and Glenn, Fun King 3D with $10. Wow, thanks, Glenn.
Oh, what a champ.
Love you too, man. How you got to meet them at New York, right?
I got to meet everyone at New York. It was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic.
It correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a little too hot and a little too busy, and you wished you could have met more people.
Pretty much. That sums it up. Yeah, it was, as you said, an anomaly for that heat. That was hot for Australia. That was pretty crazy to be outdoors. I mean, I felt bad for Joe in the sun.
I know.
Like, his printer wasn't working properly because the sensor was being blasted with ultraviolet rays. Like, and the build tech team, you know, in the afternoon, they were getting blasted. And
and they were, and Build Tech has black shirts. They were warm.
Yeah.
They were warm.
I think in my interview with Joseph, we were both pretty much saying you could print ABS perfectly today on any printer.
Ashley is asked if we watched William Osmond. Have you seen any of? Oh, I love that. And in fact, Casey Neistat unboxed that Casey Neistat hand that William Osmond had made, and it was broken.
Broke it. Yeah. No, I think that's, again, going into like the evolution of YouTube. Smart people doing entertaining projects, I think, is going to just go like, it's like a vlog style thing. Evan and Caitlin as well. I don't know if you've caught up with their channel. They do similar things, you know, vlog style entertainment projects.
Yeah. Okay. One thing about Evan and Caitlin, are they not just the most adorable people you've ever seen?
Yes, they are the most perfect couple. They will. When me and Ash met them, we were just like,
right, just like,
I know.
Oh man, so good. Yeah, and they're totally down for collaborating and just doing cool stuff with people, and they have fun together, and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful.
It is, and that's the thing. Like, that's one of the things I wish I could do easier from Australia is do collabs with you guys over there, because they can take a short flight and do an awesome video together. For me, it's like 23 hours on a plane, and that's what kills it, really. But the doors are always open if you ever come here. I mean, I'll show you the wonders of Australia.
Sweet. All the products are Chinese, and the no manufacturing, and
I've really sold it, haven't I?
Yeah, it's a great time right there. Hey, thanks for the 20, Eddie.
Oh, you're a champ, Eddie.
Eddie's good people, man.
Don't worry about me. It's fine.
Eddie's good people. He was doing that build along to the Tron XYX5, I think it was, with Chris of Practical Printing, and I got to talk to his daughter. She is just a little breath of sunshine, man.
That's lovely. That's awesome.
Well, I had this idea for you and Ash, of course, if she could make it as well. But you could do a U.S. West Coast tour.
It'd be nice
because you know about the California area. You've got Protopasta just north of Oregon, and you have some 3D printing companies in the Portland side of Oregon. Here near me, you've got myself, you've got Barnacles, you've got Bill and Brittany. You could do a lot of cool stuff with them. And then up in Vancouver, Canada, there's a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys ever had like a month to spare and just wanted to couch surf, I bet that would be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome. We need to figure out which maker fairs we're hitting next year, and if we're going to try to do TCT as well. But it's all about, tying up the funds, working out the time, because I'm backlogged because of the trip.
Okay, if you go to TCT, I have to go to TCT.
Because, it's easy to get from there to all the crazy European stuff that's going on, like Craftbot in Hungary and Poland.
And Prussia in Czech Republic.
Yep, that could be something.
And Daniel Norey and Anton up in Sweden.
Yep. And you got Tom as well. So that could be interesting too.
And Joe in Malta. We could go to Malta.
We could go to Malta. Absolutely. I think I've just convinced you to actually come to Europe instead.
Oh
dear.
Dude, I think it's 10:30 here.
Ice cream time.
I think it might be ice cream time. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to thank everybody that was able to jump into the chat with us. That was a lot of fun. And a big thanks to everybody that sent me a donation. It blows my mind. And I may have a new computer sooner rather than later. That's kind of exciting. Angus, anything for you? Final words?
No, this is heaps of fun. If we could figure out how to do it on a different platform, that would be nice. But again, it was nightmarish. So this Google Group seems to work fine. And it was awesome hanging out with everyone, and Sunday Arvo here. This is perfect time to spend the day.
Well, I think if we can ever figure out getting the two of us on screen at the same time, then we could lock down some sort of regular engagement, whether it's once a month or something like that.
Yeah. Again, we got to talk to Jay and Jerry and figure out how they do that double thing.
I know they do it so good too.
But they do have like a bajillion bits of computer gear, so I'm sure it's actually probably something quite expensive that does it, but we'll figure it out.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna send a high five to everybody in the chat. Love you, brother. I will. I'll talk to you soon.
Let's call it good.
See you later, man. Bye, everyone.
Bye.